Hi, Peter. How are you today?
I am doing great. How are you?
Yeah, really well, thank you. So, just for our viewers, this is Peter and Rosie again, just talking about frequently asked questions. And this time we thought we would address a question that we're asked quite a lot, and that is, I'm thinking of doing a PSYCH-K workshop. Which one should I choose? So, we thought it would be really helpful to maybe turn that question back and say, well, what are your intentions in learning PSYCH-K? So what are your expectations and what are you wanting to experience in your journey of PSYCH-K? And then we can point you to the right workshop. So we're going to come up with a few different scenarios, I think, Peter.
One of the, I think the guiding principles of PSYCH-K that really impacted me is the fact that one of the intentions of PSYCH-K is to bring your power out. It gives your power back to you. So rather than trying to figure out that, let me analyze what your situation is, we'll just give you the information so that you can make the best choice yourself. The power is with you. So I would say that they're probably the most common, at least in my experience in these years of working, the common reason that people come is that they usually have something that's bothering them, that they've run up against the wall. I like to think of it as like I've got a pebble in my shoe or a rock in my shoe, and every time I take a step, I'm reminded, oh, I don't have enough money, or oh, I'm in such a horrible relationship with my boss, I hate going to work, or oh, I wish I could be somewhere else. So there's something that they want to change. And another way of defining that is that it's their own growth, that this limitation or this block is giving them an opportunity to go beyond where they've been in the past. So we might call that personal development or expansion of the self, or being more authentically expressed. So for that, we would start with a workshop, because we have two types. What are the two types that we have to start off with?
So we've got people could enter via the online channel, so they could do the online workshop, or they could enter in the in-person basic workshop, which is obviously in-person versus online. They're both done real time. So I think people sometimes think the online might be self-taught over videos or whatever, but they're actually real time with an instructor online, and in person real time with an instructor just at a venue with other people in the group. So
so it's interesting because both of those are fabulous ways of learning PSYCH-K. I think the big difference is the original one, the way we've been teaching for years, was done always in person, and it's fantastic for developing the skill set to be able to work with yourself, any limitation that you have, and also working with another person. So what a tremendous advantage. So let's just talk about what's possible going through that portal, you might say. So if someone desires, because none of this is obligatory, it's just each workshop creates a greater opportunity for you to both heal and actually wake up different parts of your potential. So what would be the next step after the basic if we're talking about the in-person workshops?
In the in-person for self, as we were saying, for self-growth, self-exploration, what I like to call self-evolution or self-enlightenment, I would choose probably the advanced integration workshop after the basic, because this creates rapid, fast, significant change in a very short period of time. So if we're talking of that path or that expectation of self-growth, I think I would choose the advanced integration after the basic.
Yeah, and I like that it's not called the advanced course. It's actually the advanced integration. And what we're integrating is all the, you might say, the principles and the processes of PSYCH-K that are so fast and effective in changing our subconscious and reseeding it with those beliefs that empower us. So advanced integration, you're integrating at a higher, more advanced level, some principles that are going to move you into discovering your own magnificence.
Perfect.
And then after that, there was really a beautiful gift, which is the Divine Integration Retreat. And I like
Which
to
is
describe it. Yeah, go ahead, Posey.
which is not actually a workshop. So I think this is where sometimes there's a misconception in people looking at the list of what they can do or the offerings that they can take. And as you say, it's a retreat and it's a beautiful gift, not a workshop. Yeah.
So the idea is that in many courses, and I love taking courses as well in other modalities and learning different things, even languages. I'm studying Portuguese. There's an idea that the courses take you to deeper levels of proficiency.
Yeah.
And it's true only that if we're connecting with our spirit, if we're trying to be the best expression of self, in my mind, or everybody's got their own opinion about this, is one of the things that we're healing is our separation from ourself, that illusion of separation. And so the fact that after the advanced integration retreat, there is the advanced integration workshop, there is a retreat. Oftentimes people think, well, it's like, well, I'm not going to learn anything new. However, the fact of the matter is that it's almost like we're slowing down in the sense of not so much, okay, I've got to learn more, what am I going to learn? It's like, wow, now we're going to take some time. It depends on how it's structured, but it's really like 3 days. Sometimes it's lived out over 4 days. So there's time for traveling. It's done in usually very beautiful natural settings. So we have a chance to commune with the energy of nature and the principles of nature. And we have an opportunity at that point to really get in touch and experience our own divinity, or if you don't like that word, our own essence, and really connect with that. So really is a profound expansion of self by going deeply, deeply into oneself.
Yeah. It's kind of the pinnacle point, isn't it, of self growth and self enhancement, self enlightenment, self evolution, self realization. I think is a good word for that concept.
I like self evolution. Yes. Yeah. And the interesting thing is that it's free.
Yeah.
Well, it's not free in the sense that you'll pay your lodging and your accommodations, but there's no charge for it because it's given as a gift by PSYCH-K instructors who choose to participate. It's a gift that the whole community of PSYCH-K, the structured body, gives to people for their own deeper and deepest connection with self.
Yeah.
So it's a gift.
And it's a very profound gift. Yeah. And it's a gift to yourself to go to the retreat, actually. So you're gifting yourself as well by attending it. So that's that pathway that we've talked about. If people are wanting to enter PSYCH-K workshops to really explore their own evolution and growth and meet life's belief system challenges, that's a really good organic pathway to do that. Yeah. And
speaking of organic, that kind of reminds me of health.
Yes.
Then there is one that is called the Health and Wellbeing Workshop. And that is like, wow. I love it because it's almost like after the advanced, so you've done the basic and you've done the advanced integration retreat. You can either do the divine integration, the advanced workshop, you can do the divine integration retreat, or you can do the health and well-being.
Oh, both.
So, or obviously, I'm just talking about the order, in the order.
Yeah.
So the basic, then you do the advanced integration workshop, and then you have the option of doing the divine integration retreat or the health and well-being.
Yeah,
beautiful. Because you need to have, the prerequisite is to have done the advanced.
Correct.
And how would you describe it?
The health and well-being, 4 days of really identifying different ways of perceiving and addressing different situations and conditions using the power of the subconscious mind and also the power of what we call the superconscious mind. So I think it's just an amazing collaboration between the superconscious, conscious and subconscious minds to address fully and holistically a condition. Yeah, how would you call it, Peter?
Well, I had just finished translating an event in Spain, and I went to visit a friend who had an apartment in Portugal, and coming down a mountain road on a bike and going a little bit too fast, I ran into this car on a curve, got knocked out, and immediately used one of the tools called PSYCH-K first aid.
Yes.
My hand was broken. I had cuts. I was bleeding from my head. Yes. I just sat there on the road and did PSYCH-K. I didn't do PSYCH-K for my wrist. I didn't know it was broken.
Yeah.
But obviously bleeding. There was a puddle like about 12, 15 inches diameter. I could see it from where I was sitting, and I knew I was bleeding. And so I just calmly did some PSYCH-K balances using emergency PSYCH-K.
Yeah, beautiful.
When I got to the hospital, it was kind of an ordeal because of what was going on there. They did a CAT scan. My brain was normal. There was no damage to the brain. I was out for probably about 3 minutes, totally passed out. The man who stopped his car, he thought I was dead.
Yeah.
He said he got out of his car and he said, "This man is dead." And then a 4-letter word that sometimes people use. He thought I was dead. He said, "Only when I got close to you, I realized." The reason I'm pointing that out is that I didn't have any pain. I didn't have any damage. I was obviously out. No like concussion, no symptoms, no dizziness. It was it was so hard that it broke the plastic on the bottle. This bottom right here just split it. Yeah. Because I found that out later when I went to get some water, and that whole bottle was exploded. So it must have been a real hard, but I didn't have any pain, no dizziness, no brain damage. And I would just say, thank you, God. I think PSYCH-K balance might have had something to do with it.
Yeah.
So to me, what's taught and what you learn in that workshop is so powerful, because now you're ready. If you've done the basic and the advanced integration workshop, now you're ready to really move into spaces where it doesn't surprise you that you can do things that might be out of the ordinary. So it's a very, very profound experience.
I think that's the way you said that is really helpful. It is, you almost need those building blocks to get to that point where you can accept what we can do with the subconscious part of the mind. So it really does open up a whole new reality or potential growth opportunity. Yeah.
I say that yes to everything you're saying.
What about if people want to work with other people? Then that's kind of the master facilitation workshop that people can take after the basic workshop.
Yeah.
So after the basic in person, they can either take the advanced integration workshop, or if they really feel that they want to be able to share this and work with other people and facilitate with other people to help them create their change, then a lovely workshop to consider is the master facilitation workshop, which helps you be more pristine and effective with your facilitation, whether it's with yourself or other people, actually.
Absolutely. It's almost like taking an art course and learning how to draw. Yeah. And you leave the workshop knowing how to facilitate with yourself and others. And depending on the experience that you've had, because there's people that come with all kinds of experience, and you're comfortable with working with people with other modalities, you might feel very comfortable. It might fit like hand in a glove, just perfect for you. But even if you have some art skill and you take the weekend workshop and you learn how to compose, and there's so much more to art, there's so much more to facilitation. So this workshop is designed only to help you go much deeper into the subtleties of the process of facilitating balances. So it allows you to work with someone using in person to facilitate that, really fine-tune those skills, to facilitate with someone like you and I are. We could be having a PSYCH-K workshop in which we see each other. But then there's often the case that someone's doesn't have access to a computer, or it's more of an emergency, and we might have to do the session over the phone. Yeah. And the distinction there is that I have to be very clear with my language and not assume anything, because I can't give you, how do you have your, cross and I can give you directions more clearly if I can see you as if I'm just doing it over the phone. So it really takes into account all the different parameters so that you have confidence, you have certainty, you have a whole new set of more subtle tools that wouldn't be appropriate to teach in the basic because there's like overload. But once you've had some experience and you've done some balances and you have some questions and you see, well, how would I handle this? Then you're ready to benefit from this beautiful mastering facilitation workshop.
Yeah, perfect. Yeah, and there's some amazing free reading that goes along with the master facilitation workshop that really feels a lot of information and fine-tuning of those skills too, just even about listening and about just some of the skills it takes to be a really effective, as you say, effective facilitator.
And also how to speak about the process of PSYCH-K. How would you talk to somebody if you're interested in doing this professionally? How would you explain what it is? And so there's actually a pre-reading that you get prepared for the actual event in person, and then the post work afterwards to fine tune after you've had this experience and really bring some closure and get you ready for the next stage in your facilitation.
Yeah, it's good. So that's kind of all the in-person, that's the in-person workshop, lolly shop, if you like. that's the kit, the full kit.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
And then we've got the online workshop, Peter, as well. That's only evolved, I guess, during an adaptation process when we couldn't actually teach in person that much during COVID years. So we were really fortunate in being able to adapt and create and give birth to this new online workshop that's now available, which is another stream of entry.
Right. So back to the original question that you had at the beginning that we asked the person interested in PSYCH-K, well, what's your intention?
Yeah.
So if you're interested in working with other people, if you're interested in going deeper in the process, well, the portal for that is to start with the basic in person, go to the advanced integration workshop in person, and do all that. So to me, the real beauty now, when we have those both options of the online workshop, is obviously if you're in a country where we can't travel, North Korea, etc. So there's circumstances where people can't travel. It's such a blessing to be able to work with yourself. So one of the key differences is that now, if you think of it as the online is really a phenomenal tool for working with yourself, because in this online is more streamlined. We call it level 1. But in the basic online or level 1, you're working with tools so that you can benefit and make the changes, things from the past, the traumas, the creating new potential by working to develop skills that aren't developed yet. So there's a whole gamut of things, and the focus is on your own self-growth, self-evolution. So that's so fantastic. So there's some people that may not be interested in working with someone else because their main focus is like for example, someone who is doing trading, Forex, and I've worked with some of those people in that area, and they say, "Wow, when I'm doing the simulation, I'm using play money. I'm doing off the charts. When it starts to be real money, it's like a whole different level of energy is there, and I'm not able to do it." Wow, what a great tool to have something to start to upgrade the beliefs that you have about money, about yourself, about your worthiness, about your success. And many times those people, not that you couldn't, but they're not interested in facilitating with someone else, like a therapist might be, or a coach who thinks that what an advantage it would be to work with somebody else. If they were interested in that, I would highly recommend that they work, do the whole line of in person, which allows that from the get-go. So, I mean, that's why it's important to decide which way you want to start.
Yeah, and I think it's different necessities have an influence on the decision point as well. So if you can't get yourself to an in-person workshop, then the online is fantastic it's an opportunity that at least you can start working with yourself. And even if then you want to do follow those in person, the advanced integration and the health and wellbeing and other avenues, then you can segue back into the basic in person when you get the opportunity. So if you think it might be a year or two before you get that opportunity, but you want to start working with yourself, then a good place to start could be the online in that regard.
Absolutely.
As well. Yeah,
absolutely. So there's a lot of reasons for it. I think it's important to mention that there is a level 2 online, and the level 2 allows you to learn the skills to work with someone else only online. Correct. So this is pretty much just, we have online, so it's going to be work with myself. Obviously, I don't have to work with myself online.
Not yet, online. Anyway.
And then learning how to facilitate with someone, and those that working with someone would be online. Yeah,
which is a wonderful opportunity if you think about it. You have family overseas and you want to help family members overseas, or you want to set up a business, an online business with yourself facilitating with other people. Yeah, they can pick some golden opportunities.
Right. I think that the main thing is to just center on what your heart is telling you to do. There are ways of going from the online back to be able to do the others. However, just be aware that the portal is to go back and start with the basic and then continue with the advanced integration and et cetera. So just that the main thing is that you ask yourself, what are you want to use it for? And you check the schedule. Keep in mind that if there's no one teaching in your area, you can also organize, reach out to an instructor and say, hey, I'm interested in doing a workshop. No one's coming to, I don't know, I've been in so many countries. Maybe, I live in Malta. No one's ever come to Malta to teach a workshop. Would you be interested in coming? Yeah, let's get together 10, 12 people. I can support you in that, and then we'll do a workshop in Malta.
Yeah, I think people forget that, or it's not maybe something that people think about, that instructors would be willing to travel and be of service in other areas. But I think most instructors are really happy to support a new area of growth. With a workshop.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
So I think that we've covered it pretty well. I think it's important that people know that they can go from one to the other. It's just a matter of starting at the entry point again, which is fine. It's always good to resit a workshop anyway. I think
it is very valuable.
Even resitting a workshop you've done cements the information nicely.
Yeah, full transparency. You would have to pay. It's less than the original than the original price. In other words, there's some it's taken into account, and so there's a smaller price, there's many factors for that, the rental of the room and the instructor and so forth. So the idea is that everybody wins with this, because what you learn in the basic in person is information that isn't necessary on the first online. So you're going to be able to get more tools, more resources in your journey with PSYCH-K. So keep that in mind. It's all the whole intention here, and I really believe this is that over delivering, giving more value, and so that's a real key to keep in mind. So whatever other questions we haven't answered, please reach out to us. We're doing a little series here of most common questions in PSYCH-K. We'd love to have your feedback and your answers.
And comments. If you've got any clarifications on anything we're talking about, just leave a comment down the bottom, and Peter or I or both of us will certainly answer them. Yeah. It might lead us to another frequently asked question video.
Yes.
Yeah.
Cool. Well, thank you very much.
Yeah, thanks, Peter.
And keep those comments coming in, and we'll talk to you real soon.
Still haven't changed. Where am I?
So do you want to do